Hiya. It's been a minute, huh? Well, more like a few years. But now that I'm not teaching anymore, apart from on my other channel, Science Shorts, I've got a little bit more time to get back into doing some music finally and pick up a few new skills as well, like learning how to make a video game, which is proving a lot more difficult than I thought.
As part of my research, I played Halo Infinite again. It ain't perfect, but man, when I play it, I'm transported back to my teenage years, 2002, sitting in front of my fat CRT TV playing OG Halo with my mate Matt. It's a feeling I hadn't felt in nearly 15 years, even though Halo 4 and 5 were a thing during that time. I was trying to figure out why. Why does Infinite feel like Halo while 4 and 5 just don't? 343 Industries, who splintered off from Bungie after Halo Reach, said in many interviews before Infinite came out that they were trying to go back to their roots. And I think they succeeded in almost every way, even though the final game ended up being pretty unfinished. The main reason that 4 and 5 didn't feel like Halo though? It's the music. Just listen to a few bits from the original trilogy. Now listen to a few bits from Halo 4 and 5. Do you hear the difference? The genius behind the original music is Marty O'Donnell. He oversaw all of original Halo sound, the effects, the hilarious grunt and marine voice lines from some really famous actors. But more importantly, he created what is probably the most iconic soundtrack of all time. Anyone who hears this immediately knows what it's from. Well, they recognize it at least. It's the perfect mix of Celtic and military vibes. It helps you understand the context of the story before you even started playing. You're in a gritty, familiar war, but there's also a mythical, magical aspect to it. It's widely accepted that Halo wouldn't have been the cultural juggernaut that it has been for nearly a quarter of a century without it. But the 2010s marked the start of the downfall of many a once great studio. 343 wanted to go in a different direction. I'm sure even if you're not a big music nerd like me, you can hear the difference in quality, complexity, and tone. The music found in Halo 4 and 5 has no iconic hooks, no recognizable melodies, and it relies heavily on synths, which makes it sound like it would be more at home in something like Mass Effect. So I have to hand it to 343 Industries, now rebranding again as Halo Studios, for getting guys in to recapture the spirit of Halo by copying and building on the original soundtrack, and even producing some excellent variations that could easily have come from Marty himself. One of the first videos I put up on YouTube was me trying to play the theme tune on piano and botching it pretty badly in the process. I wasn't ready to try and unpick all the little details found in the soundtrack, so I thought I'd try and do a better job. Get a nice driving drum groove, and then some timp action. What strikes me first of all is just how Marty manages to get such different sounding vibes from just slight variations. You have the original ba-ba-ba-ba, such a simple premise, but then he builds on that with some extra sauce on top. Still rocking that E5th bass, never fully committing to the major or minor to give it that military feel, but then adding in aspects of A dominant 7th, A minor 7th and E minor 7th, something that sounds goofy on paper but doesn't in reality. That means that when it does finally decide to switch chords, it has so much more impact. I've added some beastie brass in there as well. The piano is there largely to add some twilliness on top, still super important. Then we add the strings to carry the melody. Man, this is where Marty truly goes beast mode. It's the fact that you have two incredible lines together that make spine-tingling string action. It took me like half an hour just to unpick this bar. And who could forget the choir? Lots of spiritual Christian references in the game. Halo, prophets, the flood, salvation. Very Gregorian.
Well, I don't mind whether Greg or Ian chant. I mean, they're both good.
And you've got to have some tubular bells in there, of course. So I've mushed together some stuff from the titular song along with some of the track Finish the Fight, especially at the end, where I've taken from the variation found in the Halo 3 trailer. Goosebumps every time I hear that. And this is what I ended up with. Enjoy while you watch some of my recent Halo Infinite bloopers. I had a blast putting this together. It's certainly given me a new appreciation of how clever you have to be to create incredible soundtracks. It broke my brain just trying to decipher it. Coming up with it in the first place takes some serious talent. And I hope it's given you an appreciation for a guy who I think is one of the most underrated and unsung soundtrack composers of all time, who's on par with the likes of John Williams, John Powell, Hans Zimmer and the like. Marty recently tweeted that he would come out of retirement if Elon started a game studio. That's something that excites me, and it should excite anyone who appreciates good games, but especially great music.